what's been really cool on the personal side is there are people wearing Coastal gear that I don't know. Where last time I knew every single one of them, or at least could figure it out quick because it was a parent of a kid that just hadn't been to Conway yet, and then I see their name on the back of the shirt. Okay, cool, I know that kid. But now there are people, whether they're alums or just fans, that I don't know, and that's really cool to see.
Let's see if we remember how to do this, guys. We're back. It's the Sports Prod Pod. Took some time off because, hey, the season gets weird. So now that the season is over, why not bring it back? Actually, some seasons are still going on. And that's what we're here for today. We're here to talk to our own Alex Souza about what he's going through right now at the College World Series because he's having quite a bit of a run right now, aren't you?
Yeah, it's been awesome. 25 wins in a row, back to the regular season for Coastal baseball. So it has been a crazy postseason, and it is still continuing out here somewhere in Middle America.
So, for those that don't remember after the layoff, or for those getting newly initiated, I'm Nick Case, formerly the assistant AD for broadcast services at Charleston Southern University. Pardon me, now full-time freelancer. That voice you heard was Alex Souza from Coastal Carolina. Alex, what's your credential?
I am now the assistant athletic director for broadcast and technology.
And the third member of our team is Dennis Trapani at Wyoming. Dennis, tell us more about you.
I'm the associate athletics director for creative services at
Billy
UW.
Badass over here, associate, not assistant.
I've been called associate like 3 times this week. I'm hoping that just makes me all of a sudden, get a new paycheck and a promotion.
You just get back and suddenly it sticks.
I just tell people it's a really, really long way to say video guy.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So, in the future episodes, we'll kind of talk about the off season and what we did this past year, because clearly our last episode was in October. We've got some catching up to do with you fine folks. But for now, we still have somebody going on and doing things. And it's not just now in Omaha. Alex, you also hosted a regional there in Conway at Coastal Carolina. I know it was a unique experience, and just wanted to kind of get some info from you about that. The whole process from start to finish, from soup to nuts. Like, what was it like from when the trucks first came in to when they finally broke down and you guys were regional champs?
Well, it started actually a little bit before. I kind of threw my name in the hat. I emailed our friend Joya at ESPN and said, "Hey, our best show is our baseball show. Would love to do it. We're already set up. Think we do a pretty good job." She said, "Yeah, you don't meet equipment requirement." I said, "Okay, cool." We didn't even have to get to what our production looks like, and they could, pick that apart. So that was actually probably a good thing. Um, so at that point, I knew, trucks would come in. So at that point, we got rid of we moved all our gear and kind of, stripped it down to zero and just waited for what trucks would come and things like that. We knew we were going to be hosting even before the conference tournament. It was kind of a lock based off RPI and the fact that you don't get hurt by the conference tournament a whole lot. So we knew that was coming, and it was a matter of just waiting. So when we were announced as a host, about 3 hours later, the some people call them tech ops managers, ops producers from the packager called me, and we went over a few things of what our stadium and facility has and what their truck had. The thing that was really worrisome early on was they were a fully copper truck, all triax. We are a fully fiber facility, and so that gave me some early heartburn and really gave our tournament director, who's also our facilities and operations director, gave him a ton of heartburn because he was thinking of where the heck could you even do home runs, because it's across a parking lot. Our compound is across the football parking lot. Would not be fun if they were home running everywhere. So luckily they got some sheds shipped in, and they were able to do most everything on fiber. So that was nice. Couple home runs to the booth, and one out to center field when their shed failed them. So um, overall that was good. But they got there on Thursday for a Friday show, so it was pretty quick setup for them. But it was really cool to see it all come together. 43-foot truck with an uplink, Expando, all that. Our IT stuff worked right away, which was awesome. Not always the case at every spot. And it was really cool to see them put it all together. We did our walkthrough, and they were pretty much self sufficient. Had some issues with our fiber at one point, some us, some them. But that's kind of where I come in as the quote unquote house. And, I'm there and while they're there. So if they're there at 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. like they were that first day, that's the deal. And just kind of help them out, help them get data down to the truck. And then the hope is that Thursday is the first day that, I'm directly dealing with them. And then the rest of the time they're just putting on a great show. And, I'm there to facilitate if things are needed. And that's the way it worked, a little bit of struggle that first day. They didn't want to be there for 13 hours, but they want to be ready and ready to go for a noon game the next day. So got everything sorted out by about 8 that Thursday, and then honestly it was super easy after that, which is great. It let me kind of produce what we needed to do on the video board, and do my group's in charge of all the press conferences and distributing all that stuff. So let me do that and help on the it's broadcast and technology in my title. So there's a bunch of stuff I had to do for live stats on the board, things like that. So TV packager was great, and kind of let me do the rest of my job.
How many times you go to Duncan? That's the real question.
Oh man. Well, once
How
every
many
day.
Krellers? How many Krellers? That's the real question.
I
actually.
had, so 3 game days was 3 crullers.
Okay.
And I've been a decaf drinker for a while. Just hurts my belly a little bit. But after the first um, Friday we had a rain delay, and the Coastal game started at I think 10:59 or something like that, because you can't start before 11. So Saturday and Sunday I did decaf in the morning, and then we had friends that now work at Duke coming in, and they picked up some caffeinated coffee for me for the night games. So we made adjustments there. But Dunkin' in the morning, I did my own run, and then we got Starbucks brought into us after. So that was pretty cool.
Decaf, they're massacring my boy.
Hmm.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's soft, but
Terrible.
I mean, the good thing is like Dunkin'. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get anyways, so you might as well just get decaf.
It's mostly sugar, so you're going to get the
Yeah,
sugar high,
exactly.
whether you get the caffeine high or not. It's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you know who the packager is, I guess? Like, do you know what company that was?
I've already forgotten. Let me look. Hold on.
Well, while you look, like, how was the
Game time Productions. Found it
Game
quick.
Time? Yes.
Yeah.
Familiar with them. Haven't worked with them, but very familiar with them.
Yeah.
How
They
was
have
the
a
overall experience?
their parent group is a larger group. I forget their name too. It was great. Worked with someone named Mace May, who has freelanced as a uh, tech ops, ops producer, whatever you may call it. And he's been at Coastal a few times for football games. So it was great to see him. Great guy, really personable, and um, kind of understood the equation of, yes, ESPN is kind of running this thing, and the reason that they're on TV, the ESPN's coming to do it, and that's why we're getting this exposure. So kind of they they do get some preferential treatment, but he understands that, me being the house, he is a guest at the house. And so I love when a tech op they understand that, and they understand they are guests. And, if I don't want you to make a run there, okay, we're going to make the longer run. We brought the cables for that. And and if they understand that, it makes, my life easier, because we do it a little different at Coastal, where, I don't give them the IT or our ops people numbers. They go through me. So if my ops guy doesn't yell at me because the packager is okay with making a longer run, because we set a record every night Coastal played for attendance, and we just couldn't afford, cabling, and even with really nice cable guards across pedestrian areas. It just wouldn't really work because we had never seen that many people in our stadium before. So like just avoiding any of those issues would be great. And they were awesome about it. Game time was great. All the freelancers that I'm used to seeing from Charlotte and Charleston, they were awesome. And you know, oh crap, we got to make that run. Yeah, sorry, but they were cool with it. They like all TV guys, they'll throw a little complaint in there. "Oh, I can't believe they're doing this, but then they did it, and they did it awesome.
What? No.
Yeah, it looked great. Or no one made any comments on how all this cabling and tape and all that. No, they did it awesome. So it was in the end, other than that first day with just a long day because we did have rain in the middle of that day, so it wasn't all the setup. It went super smooth. So and I thought the shows looked great. And this year, which is different than 23, they actually had the announcers in stadium, which was so much better. And that's an ESPN decision, not game time or anything. But to have them there and feel the atmosphere is so much better.
I'd just like to point out I was not one of the freelancers complaining because I was not there. I was
Yep.
off doing something else. So I just want to
Yep.
put that out there. I was not one of the
It
Charles.
it looked incredible on television.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Suze, you're welcome for the bump the last couple of nights of that.
That's right.
Twice,
No, yeah, you did join
twice
in.
the Shants are losing. I turn the
Yep.
game on and they win. So
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. No, it was, yeah. I think them being the announcers being there, I thought the audio guys were awesome. I got so many texts of like, "Holy crap, it's loud!" And it was, and they weren't juicing us like it was in stadium, but sometimes, on various networks they're too scared of blowing it out or whatever, and they'll tone down some crowd, but they took the risk, and because it's a small place too, so I mean wherever your mics are, it's not far away from anyone, but yeah, I think they really captured what was going on really, really well.
the Grand Slam
Mhm.
was as nuts as I have ever seen a college baseball stadium, TV, in person, whatever, in my life. It was insane to watch.
Yeah, I joined in. So if someone that works with me listens to this, they'll call me a liar. But I normally try to like keep it pretty subdued, even if I'm not in the truck. Um, you know, Seen a bunch of games, all that stuff. I was up on the stairway into our like. They probably showed it on TV, but there's like the porch outside of our CAF suite where a bunch of people sat up right above all our pennants. I was on the stairway there, and our tournament director was next to me, and he was like, "How cool would a nuke off the scoreboard be?" I was like, "Yeah, that'd be sick." And I was like, "He's not going to do this. Good player, Colby's a great player, but he hit it, and I kind of lost all professionalism. I was around our fans, so it was fine, but I was yelling and screaming. It was awesome. You got caught up in it for sure, but it was definitely I mean, easy top three moment in that stadium for Coastal baseball.
Yeah, you were around for 16. How
Mhm.
was the coastal experience different than then? Like just at the stadium. I know it's changed, the stadium has changed, but how has that environment different from 2016?
I think it's been building. Obviously 16 helped a bunch, but I mean, we still, you know, after we won the World Series, we came back, and that opening weekend, we were blessed with great weather in February, but we had like 4 to 5,000 people each day, but then it dropped back down to the 1,700 a game, and that's announced attendance. Um, but it's been building, and honestly, like people have been giving him his flowers, and it's like the AD doesn't do everything, but Chance Miller and his new kind of what he's injected in the emphasis on fan experience. We averaged 3,000 fans a game, and it was about as legit as 3,000 can be. It's normally tickets purchased, but it's about as legit as it could be. And Cliff Bonner, our director of marketing, really upped like the crowd engagement as well. And so I think that led to, okay, now we have a regional, and more people are going to come out because of that. They're not diehards grinding it out on February 27th, right? Like, not everyone's going to do that, and I get that. But we knew a lot more people would come out, and just the core group, that 3,000 that was there every game, they led with the engagement and joining in. And then the other 3,000 that were there were like, oh, this is fun. I'm joining in too. Um, it helped that we had the crazies from ECU there. That helps because those folks are nuts. And there was a little bit, our fans have always been kind of reactionary. If another fan base is getting after it, okay, we're going to join in. This year they got better in creating their own noise, but when you have a fan base like ECU there, that was really helpful to get our fans involved, and then they carried it the rest of the way. So that was really cool. I think there's a lot more, like, with 16, there was, the kids that had been there a lot longer than some of our guys this year. So there was a little bit more attachment, but I think our folks have really dove in, and they really know these guys, and they're a lot more savvy nowadays because of something like 16. It gets some more fans to lock in. So I think they're a lot more savvy, and they get the game, and we've been teaching them and trying to get them to join in a lot more, and they have. So it's been great.
Yeah, going back to your AD, when I saw you in December for the Myrtle Beach Bowl, which we'll get to another time, I was impressed talking to him. Like, it's easy for some people in those positions to take on the political side of things, and the people pleaser on the outside. But I didn't get that from him. He actually seemed to uh, to be authentic in what he said, and even talking about you when I would talk about you, he seemed very authentic in what he said about you. And my time talking to him in the press box, I was impressed with him.
Yeah, he's been great. I think one of the things that I've really enjoyed, and I mean, Matt Hogue, our old AD, was my mentor, right? Like, so it's no knock on him. I'm not here without what Matt did, but with Chance, with the way, coming from South Carolina and needing to do a bunch of fundraising and a bunch of revenue stuff, I wasn't sure how locked in he was going to be on some of the minutia, but it's so important to him. Game day experience is way up there, but even my stuff, I mean, I'll get a text from him, in the middle of a show and be like, hey, that was a cool little segment. If he's away, on a donor trip with a team, whatever it may be, and we're doing another game back home. But he is very involved on the game day side with what's going on, kind of really aware of, all the pressure points for fans, kind of what he would like to see as a fan, but then also, how can that, drive revenue or whatever it may be on the department side. So really good with our marketing and game day folks in what they could be doing, even for music, all that. They may say they get some more text than they want in the middle of a game, but I think that's someone that's involved and not just, like you said, on the political side and talking with board members and other dignitaries that may be at the game. He's locked into the experience, and he knows the players. He knows the students, because we're almost all students running things. He knows them really well, and I think it goes a long way, and it makes people want to kind of do the work because it's tough. He runs a tight ship and stuff like that. So it makes them want to do that extra work.
So you are now coming to us live from Omaha. It will be not live when you hear this. It'll be pre-taped. Whatever. Anyway, you're in Omaha right now. Pretty cool. Um, how has that experience been? Have you been able to kind of envelope yourself into the broadcast stuff at all, or have you just kind of sat back and taken it all in?
I think the first picture I took was of, I call it spider cam. I don't know if there's a technical word, but the spider cam going from the fan village into the stadium. I think that was the first picture I took, and kind of how they did that with it. They put up a cherry picker, and um, that was one anchor, and then to the other side of the stadium, because coming from, where is it? It's coming out of right field. There's no high structure in right field. It just goes out to a concourse. So that was the first picture I took. So I've been taking a look. I have made some contact with ops people on the ground here, um, hoping to get into a truck coming up. My hope. Oh, that might be a home run. Nope, sorry. Got the Arkansas UCLA game on next to me. My hope is that Coastal wins tomorrow night, and I have 2 days off. We just had 2 days off, but 2 days off, knowing that we're going to the finals and hoping to get into the truck or into a meeting um, during one of those games. I think that'd be really cool. And they said they're open to that. They're just right now they're doing so many games that I'm not really trying to bug them. And my best time would be to go in the evening, and that's when they are you know changing over to the next game and having to done double headers and done tournaments. I hate that time, so I've been trying to stay clear. And if get to some of these days that might be one game, or like if there's a game 7 in the other bracket and it's just one game, then go try to check that one out in the truck. I think that'd be really fun.
Let's timestamp this real quick. What inning? Who's batting? Or
uh
what team is batting?
Arkansas is batting. I think Aloy's up, who is really scary, and I hope we never face him. But that's also kind of everyone on the other side of the bracket. But it is the bottom of the third. Arkansas is up 2-0.
All right. Thank you. I just wanted to know.
Suze, what is I want to get into the nitty gritty of the job now a little bit.
Yeah.
What's the content plan looked like? What has been your philosophy going in? What did you want to show off? I mean, obviously it's an NCAA championship. There's only so much you can do. None of it involving the game generally.
Yeah.
So what's that experience been like?
Well, the beautiful thing is, when I said I am now broadcasting technology, they've taken social away from me, which is great. But I have been part of the team, which is great. I mean, it's one of the reasons I'm out here is because I'm part of the content team, and what we've discussed. And Patrick Osborne, our associate AD for branding and social media, is really we're trying to tell the story as best we can, because bless our local news, but they can do even less than we can. And we know where our team is going at all times, and we have access to them that our local media will never have. So we're trying to be the news arm as well. So we have on this trip, we have two extremely talented video creatives, and one student photographer who is absolutely dynamite. And then on my side, I'm kind of the news arm. I'm the news producer for us. So myself and then our on-air talent, Sam Wiederhaft, are doing the CCU and Omaha series. And so we're doing we're supposed to do one a day. Sam's just a kid, so I'm making him do like 3 videos a day. I'm breaking him this week. Just
He's
'cause.
earning the Cheesecake Factory he's currently at.
That's right. He's so excited about that. Come to Omaha. He's gone to like 5 chains. Like, what are we doing?
Look, let me interject here. The Cheesecake Factory,
Worth it?
worth it. I don't know. I go back and forth on this, guys. Actually, it's not a bad idea, but it's a bad idea all at the same time. Because I don't think I've ever gone in there and eaten less than 5,000 calories.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. He might be worse than like a lefties night. He might be worse off tomorrow after just Cheesecake Factory than after one of our 2 wins.
I'm going to timestamp this real quick. Wait until you see Reinhardt's goal he just scored. Oh my God. I mean, the guy meets Livy Dunn. What else does he need to do the entire time? He's just
Right.
he could run to McDonald's the rest of the way, and I'm sure he's pleased as
He's
punch.
on 5'9".
you didn't put that content out, did you? No.
No, that was all of him. This is the most likes I've ever had. Well, yeah, look who's on the other side, man. But yeah, it's been fun because I used to do kind of the newsy stuff for us. I like that. That's more my style than the creative style, right? Like I can do an edit, but I like doing the newsy stuff. So we've been trying to do some different things, a lot of basic kind of packages and news hits, but we have that access. I can walk up to our head coach Kevin Schnall and say, "Hey, Kev, like I've known him 20 years now." So we have that access, and we can get them, and we can grab the guys whenever we want, and we don't need an SID to bring someone over. So we've been doing that. We've been pushing the envelope as much as we can. After a game, we're gonna grab the guy. We waited the other day for Morrison to do ESPN, then Westwood. We knew we had to wait on that after the night he had. But we could grab the other guys in the meantime and get some things going, and yeah, just using that access as best we can to tell the story and do as much as we can. I think I got 29,000 steps the other day because I also am doing in-game edits so that our creatives do not have to uh, go back to the digital photo room. So I've been going up and down, and I don't have this time because I am a little bit lesser of a role than last time because I did everything. I don't have dugout access, so I can't just go to the tunnel. So I'm through the concourse every time. So it's been a lot. It's been a lot, and yeah, and there's no easy way. So it's been a lot of walking, a lot of wanting to teach people how to walk. I'm still a Yankee. I've been down here so long, but they don't walk up to my standards. But we'll get them going.
Did you get to go to Omaha in 16, or were you stuck behind?
I did. I was taking photos, tweeting. I was doing gifs then, uh, a lot of like picture gifs. So I would just hammer the shutter and then go make a gif. We
Oh
had
my God, we're old.
yeah, right. Yeah. I was using like a website to do it then too. I wasn't even bothering on like anything Premiere. I was just throwing it in and letting them make it. It was like Giphy or something. It was bad. Um, but we had a what's it called? We had a video guy doing stuff on like a Panasonic news camera, like a ENG cam, and
Like a
then
P2.
yeah, oh yeah, and
That's
then
awesome.
we had a really great photographer from the school side, a student that actually flew herself out there as long as we could get a credential. Um, yeah, it's way different now. Actually, all of our creative gear that the guys bought got in the day before we left. So they're using all new stuff. So it's pretty cool. And actually editing on that stuff's been fun. Um, so that was good for me. I'm still using one of our old school content cams, a Canon, but Canon, yeah. But they got the Sony F7s or whatever those creatives have, and some lenses and filters and all that stuff that's passed me by. But it looks great, and they use it really really well.
Somebody at a G5 like you really doesn't get that opportunity once, let alone twice. Personally, like, how is this different for you?
Um, it's cool to I told UCLA people where to go one time. That was really cool. Like, oh, you guys don't know where to go? It's like right down there. Come on, because these it's been since I think 13 for them, and it's a bunch of kids, so they don't know where to go. But it's been really cool. What's been really cool on the personal side is there are people wearing coastal gear that I don't know, where last time I knew every single one of them, or at least could figure it out quick because it was a parent of a kid that just hadn't been to Conway yet, and then I see their name on the back of the shirt. Okay, cool, I know that kid. Um, but now there are people, whether they're alums or just fans, that I don't know, and that's really cool to see that growth. And then we we tried to do a video, Sam and I, of people that like adopted us last time because the city adopts like the underdog or whatever. We couldn't find anyone the first couple days, but then when we were doing like man on the street stuff the other day, we found like four or five, and that was really cool. And they're back with their 2016 shirts on, and there was even one guy that he said he was like starting college, didn't really care about his college team because it was either like a D3 or D2 team. And he adopted us, and he's known us and followed us since 16. And he's from Omaha. He was wearing a shirt that his late father had purchased, and it was really cool. And he's like, I had to come back. and see you guys. I don't live here anymore, but came back and had to see you. That was really cool to see. And he's still locked in and knows about the team currently, not just because we're back. Oh, I'll check it out. Like he knows the team now. That's been really cool to see those folks and walk into some local establishments and they remember us. Um, that's been fun. So yeah, it's been a really cool experience. First time, walked back into the stadium, it was like it was goosebumps right away. And it was like, yeah, this is the spot I was at when we won the national championship, and that was really cool to kind of relive and see.
And you hear about people like that, and it kind of like puts another spin on the jobs that we have or had. And because there are times it's easy to think, oh, just parents are watching this, but you had people that were adopting you and still following you, and you're their lifeline now, and it's kind of a cool thought.
Yeah, and there's been alums that I know and they know what I do, but they've also come up to Sam and been like, voice of the Shots, and like they're really excited to see him because he's on their TV, and that's because they watch as much as they can, and they know what I do, but it's been cool for him to see and really cool for me to see as someone that works with them, like yeah, they are still watching, and they're not just showing up because we're in Omaha, like they've been watching. They're those guys that are watching in February, and Sam's on the call, and it's something actually thinking about it, to remind our workers and our students that this stuff means something to folks, and it's more than just the parents and degenerate gamblers watching. It's folks that really care about this program are watching, and they they give it back in turn when they see us or on social or whatever it may be. They give it back. They give that love back, so we got to kind of put that love into it too.
No, I think that's one of the to me the unfortunate part of when you get to this point in the season is that you know and for good reason, obviously TV takes over and they're the stars of the show, I guess, if you will. They're putting on the show. And I think a lot of times the guys, like you guys that are producing the games and calling the games back in February when you're playing whoever, they kind of may not be forgotten, but you kind of take a back seat at that point, and that's just the nature of it. So for him and for you guys to have that experience, that's super cool and well deserved, I might add.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's cool because Sam's been able to do a couple innings on radio too. So it's been, I think that's been cool for him. And he's a kid. I mean, he's 25, 26 or whatever. He's not a kid, but I mean, he's at the beginning of a on-air career. I mean, those careers can go long, long. Like it's cool for him to get that experience and tell the stories, because that's one thing that our shows try to do. We try to delve in and get not personal. We're not trying to do, sepia toned, E60 stuff on our shows, but we want to tell some backstory. And he's really good at that part. And so being able to do that out here in Omaha, I've been happy for him to be able to do that. And for us to see it. And, the cool thing is, like, he's made some connections with some on air talent. And then we know some just from seeing them, but we've tried to feed some folks some stuff we know as well, to try to, because they can only do so much with 8 teams they have to do research for. And, even if they have long conversations with the coaches and the SIDs, that some things are going to get passed by, because they got 30 minutes with coach, right? So we've been trying to shoot text when we can and not be overbearing, but try to give some info when we can to give that personal touch to some folks.
Before we wrap it up, is there anything other than a ring that you're really hoping to get out of the rest of your time in Omaha?
I'm excited. There's some folks that couldn't make the first plane out that were here in 16. They're coming for tomorrow's game, and then from what I remember, and from seeing it on TV, today and probably tomorrow, it gets a little lighter on these Tuesday, Wednesday games because like there's no guarantee you're here. You're guaranteed those first 2 games, and so I saw so many fans of ours, Arkansas, LSU, leaving like in the elevator with big bags. They're like, yeah, gotta go. I mean, we gotta work. Um, I'm excited to see the influx come back. If we're blessed enough to make it to the finals, to see that rush of people coming back. I talked to one of our ticket guys today. I said, "You ready to work? Because if we win, like your phone's going to be ringing more than it already was, and they've already been grinding." So seeing that influx of people come, either people that have already been here say, "Screw it, we're going back," or the folks that kind of waited. All right, if we make the finals, we'll go. Um, I'm excited to see that group. A lot of friends have made some promises to come back, so I'm excited to see them. I was about to say show them Omaha. I mean, it's not my town, but there's a couple local spots that we like to go to, and I'd love to take them to because I'm sure I've told them about it 1,000 times, and they're sick of hearing about 16. And it's time to make 25 the new thing that we talk about way too much. And I'm excited for that, and just to see the guys, no matter what happens, they've kind of put themselves up with everyone else. And I mean, I think one more win, it's the most wins ever in program history. So, and that was, with a team that played every possible game in 2016, like in the Big South tournament, in the regional, in the super, we swept LSU. So that was the only time we didn't play every game possible. And then in Omaha, they played every game possible, and this team has already won 55, and we still have 3 more wins that we could potentially get. So it's kind of crazy. So seeing them kind of reach their pinnacle is going to be great as well.
Thanks for joining us again on this episode of the Sports Prod Pod, Alex. Thanks for joining us, ? I don't know. You're part of the group anyway, but thanks for talking to us about your unique experience so far in Omaha. And based on timeline of things, you'll be doing it in 34 again anyway?
Yeah.
Every 9 years?
Yeah, every 9 years. Hopefully more. Our AD and coach have yelled to an entire lobby a couple times that this is the standard now. So, I mean, I don't know if we're going to go LSU every other year for 40 years, but hope it's a little bit quicker than every 9.
I'm looking forward to the 43 championship, actually. So be a good one for you, Suze.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It's a good vintage.
Yeah, I'll keep forgetting those 16 stories by then.
Back in my day.
Uh-huh.
We'll be on like Rosenblatt 5 by then.
Yeah.
On that note, we'll be signing out for the night. We'll be trying to do this again every 2 weeks. We're going to try to make this bi-weekly. We'll try to keep up with it. Keep us honest. Keep us on top of it. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you guys later. Good night, Satellite.